The following clip is about a family who, for months, have been forced to wake up night after night to sounds they cannot explain. Sounds that never repeat the same way twice, yet always carry the same heavy, unsettling presence, as though something inside their home is aware of them, aware of their routines, and waiting for the moment they are most vulnerable. Some nights, footsteps would stop right beneath their bedroom, lingering there as if whatever was making them knew exactly where they were. Other nights were far worse. One evening, they woke up to a hollow, rhythmic sound coming from the basement, the unmistakable bouncing of what sounded like a ping-pong ball, striking a hard surface over and over again, echoing through the silence of the house. But when they gathered the courage to check, the basement was empty, the air still, and nothing was out of place, yet the feeling that something had been there lingered heavily in the room. Doors would sometimes slam shut without warning, not slowly drifting closed like a draft might cause, but violently, with enough force to make the entire house shake, as if something unseen was moving through their home with complete freedom. One night, they heard something far more disturbing, and this time, they managed to capture it on camera.
Stay away.
According to the couple, this lasted for hours, but what made the moment even more unsettling was their dog's reaction. This was the same dog followers of their story had seen in a previous video, where it stood at the basement entrance, growling aggressively, ready to charge down as though confronting something only it could see. Because of how often the disturbances occurred, the couple began trying to cope with the fear using humor, even joking at one point that they should give whatever was in their home a name, treating it like an unwanted roommate rather than an unknown presence. But viewers strongly warned them against it. Many believe that naming an entity gives it identity, acknowledgement, and in some cases, power, strengthening its connection to the home and the people living there. What starts as sounds can escalate into movement, and what begins as movement can evolve into something far more personal. Another night, they heard another sound, one that would finally give them a small but terrifying clue about what they might be dealing with. Outside, something was clearly playing with their dog's toy, but when they rushed outside to confront whoever, or whatever, was there, it was empty. Some viewers speculated that if this were paranormal, it could be the spirit of a child, drawn to something familiar, something playful, repeating actions from a life that was suddenly interrupted. Others believe it could be something else entirely, something mimicking harmless behavior in order to lower fear, creating confusion rather than immediate terror. There are even darker theories suggesting that entities sometimes manipulate objects connected to pets in order to provoke emotional reactions, feeding off attention, fear, and curiosity. The couple revealed that they had already tried to cleanse the house by saging, a practice believed to remove negative or unwanted spiritual energy. Sage has long been used across different cultures as a purification method, intended to restore balance and remove lingering presences. But despite their efforts, the activity continued, unchanged, as though whatever was there had no intention of leaving. Now they live with the constant uncertainty of sharing their home with something they cannot see, something that walks freely through their halls, interacts with their belongings, and makes itself known only when it chooses. Until more updates are shared, this unsettling case remains a mystery. In this next clip, a guy named Danny shares the terrifying experiences he's been living through inside his own home. Experiences that didn't begin with something obvious, but instead started with something far more subtle and far more disturbing. The kind of thing you could easily dismiss at first, until it keeps happening over and over again. According to Danny, the most unsettling part of it all isn't the sounds, or the shadows, or even the feeling of being watched, but the blackouts. Random, unexplained blackouts that affect only his house, sometimes lasting 10 minutes, sometimes stretching to nearly 30, leaving him completely cut off from light, from visibility, and from any sense of control. At first, he assumed it was an electrical issue, something faulty in the wiring, something that could be repaired and forgotten. But then he began noticing patterns. The blackouts didn't happen during storms, they didn't affect neighboring houses, and more disturbingly, they were often accompanied by things he couldn't explain. Objects would be in different positions after the power returned. Doors he was certain he had closed would be slightly open, and there were nights when he heard slow footsteps pacing outside his bedroom during the blackout. But one night, during another blackout, things escalated in a way he could no longer ignore. And this time, he managed to capture it on camera.
Power's been out for about 30 minutes now. I keep hearing noises in the hall outside the room. I haven't heard anything for about 5 minutes now, and I think...
As the power cut out, the silence became overwhelming, heavier than usual, and then suddenly, the door began to rattle violently. Not like it was loose or affected by wind, but like someone was on the other side, trying to get in. And then, right in front of him, something even more chilling appeared. A tall shadow passed by. When he showed the footage to friends, many tried to reassure him. They pointed out that whatever it was had never physically harmed him, never attacked him, never made direct contact. They suggested that maybe it wasn't malicious. Maybe it was simply a presence sharing the same space without harmful intent. But this doesn't sound convincing to a lot of people, because not all threats announce themselves immediately. Some remain passive, observing, learning routines, and understanding fear. Danny still lives there, still experiences the blackouts, still hears things he cannot explain. And now, he lives with the knowledge that something may be sharing his home, something that appears only when the lights go out. So is this something harmless? Something unexplained but passive? Or is it something waiting for the right moment to do more? I'd love to know what you think. Now in this next video, Kerry and her friend are doing something millions of people do every night without thinking twice about it. They're sitting together in her room, watching videos about shadow people. Dark, human-like figures, often reported standing in corners, appearing in doorways, or watching silently from places where no one should be. These figures are usually described as darker than darkness itself, with no clear features, no clear identity, only a presence that makes people feel watched. At first, they're focused on the videos, reacting, commenting, completely unaware of what's happening behind them. But then something changes. The curtain beside them begins to move. Something you could easily blame on air movement or coincidence. But something else happened. Watch.
Oh, Jesus hell! That was... What is it doing? What is it doing? What in the
If you look closely, you'll see something deeply unsettling. A face appears pressed against the curtain. Even more disturbing, you can see finger indents forming beside it. The shape remains long enough to be clearly visible, long enough to remove any doubt that it could be random fabric movement. And then, just as suddenly as it appears, it's gone. Many viewers believe this may be connected to what they were watching. There's a long-standing belief that attention acts like an invitation, that when people focus deeply on certain entities, especially with curiosity, fear, or emotional intensity, they may unintentionally draw their attention back. Shadow figures, in particular, are often described as observers, silent watchers that remain hidden until acknowledged. Some paranormal researchers warn that watching large amounts of content related to shadow entities, especially late at night when the environment is quiet and the mind is more vulnerable, may increase a person's awareness of subtle presences that would otherwise go unnoticed. So was it a coincidence, a trick of the curtain, or did something notice that it was being talked about and decide to reveal itself? You decide. The following clip is about a man named Aaron, whose life changed after he received terrible news from the police about the neighbor living directly beneath him. For weeks, Aaron had been complaining about a foul stench that crept through his apartment floors, a thick, sickening smell that no amount of cleaning could remove. And eventually the truth was revealed. His neighbor had passed away inside his apartment, and his body had remained there undiscovered for weeks. After the police arrived and removed the body, the hallway was cleaned, the apartment was sealed, and life was supposed to return to normal. But for Aaron, normal never came back. At first, it was small things, subtle sounds at night, and movement where there shouldn't be any. Then one night, his camera captured this. Watch. After he shared the footage, viewers immediately began asking questions. Some wondered if Aaron had something that belonged to his neighbor, an object that could carry attachment. Others asked if the neighbor had ever entered Aaron's apartment while alive, suggesting that familiarity with the space might allow his spirit to return. There were those who believed this could be the neighbor himself, restless, confused, or trying to get Aaron's attention so proper rites could be performed, especially in cultures where sudden or unattended demise are believed to leave spirits wandering, unable to rest peacefully. But when the next footage surfaced, those theories began to fall apart. Watch.
Here we go again. The lights. Ooh. See? It's doing it again. I'm not gonna run.
This changes everything, because many believe that a human spirit, especially one seeking peace, rarely manifests with this level of hostility. Instead, violent movement of objects is often associated with something else entirely. Some paranormal researchers believe that places connected to grief can create what they describe as an open emotional wound, a kind of energetic doorway that other entities can exploit. Not the neighbor himself, but something that arrived after. Desperate for answers, Aaron decided to follow advice given to him by viewers familiar with spiritual cleansing rituals. Watch.
Stage to bless the house. But first, I'm gonna use what y'all said and put the egg in the middle of the room. The egg in the middle. Okay. It keeps going out. Okay, it's good. Okay. If anything is here, you are not welcome. Is it going out? Oh, it's good. You're not welcome here. You have to leave. You're not welcome. I really didn't want to light. You're not welcome here. You have to leave. There we go. Don't show no fears. You're not welcome here. Not welcome. In the corners. The thing is moving. Not welcome here. You have to leave, find your way out. Okay, I think that's enough. I think I'm just getting the spirit mat. Okay, well, we're gonna check the egg. Check this egg. Hopefully I have a bad spirit in here. Fucking something. I'm gonna crack it into this bowl. See what happens. And
The egg, in particular, is used in spiritual cleansing rituals, especially in practices like limpia, where it is believed to absorb spiritual contamination, negative attachments, or harmful energy from the environment. The idea is simple. If the egg appears normal after the ritual, the space is believed to be clean. But if the egg appears abnormal, dark, cloudy, foul, or blackened, it is believed to have absorbed something. When Aaron cracked the egg, what came out shocked everyone watching. But many viewers immediately warned him that cracking the egg inside the apartment may have been a mistake. According to certain beliefs, once the egg absorbs negative energy, it must be buried outside, far away from the home, so whatever it contains cannot remain or return. Burying it symbolically removes and traps the negative force within the earth, preventing it from re-entering the living space. By cracking it indoors, some fear he may have released whatever it absorbed right back into the apartment. But I'll leave you to be the judge on this one. The following terrifying footage was captured by a family security camera inside their living room. In the weeks leading up to this night, lights would flicker in rooms no one had entered. The baby monitor occasionally picked up static and what sounded like faint whispering. Toys would activate on their own in the middle of the night, and once, the mother found one of the dolls placed upright on the couch when she clearly remembered laying it down. The tension in the home had been building. One evening, the mother sat in the living room with her kids, watching TV while the girls played quietly with their dolls. Everything seemed normal until this happened.
Oh my gosh! Guys, this way, this way.
First, the TV suddenly shuts off, then the crib moves. But that's not all that happened. If you look to the left side of the screen, there's a cross mounted on the wall that turns upside down. Inverted crosses are often interpreted as mockery, not necessarily anti-religious, but a sign of defiance. Some believe it represents an entity challenging spiritual authority within the home. And then there's one more detail many viewers didn't notice at first. On the bookshelf sits a Ouija board, and that is something most people are now linking to all the activities happening in this house. Ouija boards are often described by paranormal researchers as portals of invitation. If used, even casually, even once, some believe it can act as a doorway left slightly open. So can we trace all these activities back to the Ouija board, or is this something else? Until more updates are shared, this unsettling night and everything leading up to it remains a mystery. This next footage was captured by an office CCTV camera. Ever since the team lost one of their colleagues unexpectedly, the atmosphere at work hasn't felt the same. His desk remained untouched for weeks. Some employees reported faint knocking sounds near his old cubicle, and others mentioned the office phone on his desk lighting up briefly even after the line had been disconnected. Still, most people chose to brush it off as grief playing tricks on them. Then one night, a man stayed late to finish a project. He was the only one left in the building when this happened. Watch closely. The first thing you'll notice is the knocking, as if someone was trying to get his attention. Then the office goes quiet for a moment before the phone rings. According to him, when he answered, there was no one on the line, no static, no breathing, nothing. At the time, he assumed it was a network glitch or a missed dial, so he sat back down to continue working. He felt someone standing too close behind him, breathing down his neck. Then the chair to his right began to move. It wasn't until he reviewed the footage later that he noticed the faint figure standing beside him before moving toward the chair. But that's not all that happened that night. There was no one else in the office, and no explanation for the things he experienced, so we can't blame him for running. Now, many believe that locations tied to unfinished business or sudden death are sometimes associated with what's called intelligent hauntings, where the presence appears aware and interactive. The knocking could be attention-seeking, the phone ringing, a form of communication, and the chair spinning, physical manipulation. Also, the activity happened near the desk of the late colleague, so could it be their lost co-worker, lingering, perhaps unaware he's gone? I'll leave you to decide. Now, this next footage was recorded in a hotel lobby by a security camera, and according to staff, it finally gave context to months of strange incidents they couldn't explain. Have a look.
And you see there's nobody there. The door's closed. I went too far, Joe.
You think so?
Yeah. This thing was flying.
The door sounds like it opens, as if someone just walked in, but no one is visible on camera. Seconds later, the baggage cart begins to move. Still, there's no one there. For employees, this wasn't a new thing. Night shift workers have reported hearing footsteps cross the lobby long after check-in hours ended. The front desk phone has rung with no caller ID, only silence on the other end. Motion sensors in the hallway sometimes trigger when no guest is present. And one time, a cleaner claimed she saw a reflection in the glass doors behind her. But when she turned around, the room was empty. Hotels are transitional spaces. People come and go constantly, and places like airports, hospitals, hotels are believed to accumulate residual energy because of the constant emotional turnover: joy, stress, grief, celebration, and exhaustion. Some speculate that what's happening in this hotel could be more than residual energy. It could be a restless spirit, bound to the place after a traumatic event, but I'll leave you to be the judge on this one. This next video dates back to 2023 and was captured by a family's home security camera. That evening, the wife was sitting alone in the living room, scrolling through her phone when this happened. First, something falls off the table, but before she can even process it, a cabinet door slowly opens on its own. According to her, this isn't new. For years, she's heard doors clicking at night, objects slightly out of place in the morning, and she's felt watched in certain corners of the house, especially in that living room. Her husband has always leaned toward logic, house settling, loose hinges, air pressure, and sometimes says she has an overactive imagination. But after this clip, she's done debating, and she's ready to move out. But there are uncertainties. What if it's not the house? What if it's an object they brought into the house? An antique, a mirror, or a piece of inherited furniture? If they move without identifying the source, they could unknowingly bring the issue with them. She's been advised to stay a little longer and investigate. Look into the home's history, rule out physical explanations, and document patterns. Now, if you were in her situation, would you stay and gather answers? Or would you trust your instincts and leave, even if you don't yet know what you're running from? In this next video, a strange figure was caught on camera inside a man's workplace. For months, he and a few co-workers had been saying the place felt off and would joke about it being haunted. But the day they saw this footage, the joking stopped. Watch closely.
A shadowy figure can be seen entering and exiting a room at a very slow pace. Now, this could easily be explained away by the darkness of the hallway. It's too dark to see what it actually is, which may just be a person. But after increasing the brightness of the footage, it seems like this might have actually been something else. But I'll leave it to you to decide if that's the case.
In the dark hallway, a shadowy figure can be seen slowly entering a room, then exiting at the same unnatural pace. At first glance, it's easy to dismiss. Offices at night can create heavy contrast and strange silhouettes, and it could simply be a person walking past the camera in the dark. But here's what made people pause. When the brightness of the footage was increased, the outline becomes clearer, and it doesn't resemble a normal human walk. And if it were a co-worker, there should be badge logs, door access records, or additional camera angles capturing them entering or leaving that room. From a paranormal perspective, shadow figures are one of the most commonly reported phenomena in office buildings after hours. Believers describe them as human-shaped masses lacking detail, often seen moving between rooms or along hallways, particularly in places tied to stress, late nights, and emotional energy. So what are we looking at? A trick of lighting in a dark hallway? Or proof that something has been walking those halls long after closing time? You decide. Now, in this next clip, security staffs monitoring CCTV at an office inside Castlefield House on Liverpool Road in Manchester witnessed something they say they'll never forget. This is the actual footage those guards saw as they flipped from camera to camera that night. Watch. Long after employees had clocked out and the building was supposedly empty, the office came alive. Chairs began moving across the floor. Doors slammed shut with force. Door handles shook violently, as if someone was desperately trying to get in or out, and papers scattered. It looked like a chaotic night shift had clocked in, except no one was there. What makes this more unsettling is the pattern. Workers had been arriving early for weeks to find the office in disarray, chairs overturned, desks disturbed, items misplaced. At first, management may have suspected cleaning crews, pranks, or even break-ins, but no alarms were triggered, no forced entry, and according to reports, the activity only lasted a few minutes each night before stopping abruptly, almost like a replay. Castlefield House itself sits in an area of Manchester, rich with industrial past, warehouses, railways, and centuries of human activity. For those who believe in environmental imprint theory, that history matters. So is this a rare but explainable combination of airflow, pressure systems, and structural quirks? An elaborate hoax or genuine poltergeists? You decide. This footage dates back to 2014 and was captured by an office CCTV camera after hours. Watch closely. Figure enters through the door and crawls toward the desk, then disappears from view. The immediate assumption was simple, a rat. But here's where it becomes strange. When viewers slowed the footage down, the figure didn't appear solid. There were no visible features, no tail, no defined head shape. Instead, it looked like a moving shadow. Some paranormal experts suggest these entities are either intelligent spirits, residual negative energy, or interdimensional presences slipping into our reality. Whatever it was, it left no trace. Only the camera caught it, making the office staff question whether the after-hours disturbances they've experienced were far more than coincidence. This next footage captures something unsettling that happened while a family was asleep in their bedroom. Watch closely. In the video, the little girl appears to shift suddenly, like something pulled her. According to her parents, some minutes later she started crying, and it took hours before she finally calmed down. Children do move in their sleep, and night terrors can cause sudden jerks, but this looked different. The sudden pull, combined with the prolonged distress afterward, could suggest an external presence interacting with the child. In many haunted house cases, children are believed to be more sensitive to spiritual activity, sometimes targeted or simply noticed by entities that remain invisible to adults. But for now, the exact nature of what was in that bedroom remains unknown, leaving the family, and anyone who watches this footage wondering, was this a fleeting, harmless encounter or something far darker? Nick was at home with his girlfriend, casually recording a video of her talking about what she was watching on TV for reasons that aren't even important to what happens next. The moment seems completely normal, just the two of them inside, relaxed, unaware of anything unusual. The camera stays pointed toward her, but in the background behind them, a window faces outside into the dark.
Beth. Hello. What are you doing?
TV.
TV?
Yeah.
What are you watching?
99 bizarre things.
Huh. Well.
As the video plays back later, they notice something neither of them saw at the time. A faint, ghostly figure passes by the window, moving across the glass for only a second before vanishing out of view. It doesn't look like a reflection, and there was no one outside when they checked. The realization hits after the fact, turning an ordinary clip into something unsettling. Now they're left reviewing the footage over and over, unsure what they captured or what they're supposed to do about it, trying to figure out their options while knowing they can't explain what walked past that window. For a while, strange noises had been coming from the basement. Sounds that didn't match the usual creaks of a house settling. There was consistent knocking, along with what sounded like rummaging and movement, like something was shifting around down there when no one should have been. The noises went on long enough to make it impossible to ignore. Eventually, Smith grabbed his camera, deciding to document whatever was happening, and slowly opened the basement door.
There's been noises coming from this door all morning. I'll just sit here and record it for a minute.
The moment the door cracked open, every single sound stopped. No more knocking, no movement, just silence. He made his way down the stairs cautiously, step by step, the camera scanning the dark space at the bottom. But when he reached the basement floor, there was nothing there. No fallen items, no animals, no sign that anything had been moving at all, leaving only the memory of the noise and the uneasy feeling that whatever made it had stopped the second he came looking. This next clip brings back a woman from a previous Haunter video who previously found a camera with blood on it along the trail and later shared the disturbing forest footage of a black figure hiding, so new viewers understand the situation surrounding her. In this separate video, she's at home, filming herself in bed, visibly shaken and crying after being woken up suddenly in the night. She keeps repeating that it's in her house and that it's coming for her. Her voice panicked and exhausted, like this isn't the first time it's happened.
It's the middle of the night and I just got woke up again. It's coming for me. It's in my house. The noises are coming from the kitchen. Listen. That's the noise that wakes me up every night. It wakes me up in my dreams. It wakes me up from my sleep. I have to catch it camera.
She turns the camera toward her bedroom door, and from deeper in the house, loud banging noises can be heard coming from the kitchen area, heavy enough to echo through the walls. She explains that the same sounds have been waking her up repeatedly at night, leaving her afraid to sleep. The combination of her fear, the unexplained noise, and her connection to the earlier footage makes the situation feel far more serious than just a random disturbance. Later in the same video, she leaves the bedroom and moves into the living room, right beside the kitchen, trying to steady her breathing while still recording. Her breaths are deep and shaky, like she's trying to calm herself enough to face whatever she thinks is there. The camera slowly turns toward the kitchen, and that's when she points it out.
You see that? There's a shadow in the corner of the kitchen. I know I'm not seeing things. I know I'm not. I know you guys saw that. I'm going back out there.
A dark, shadow-like figure can be seen standing inside the kitchen area, not moving, just present. She whispers that it's there, her voice trembling but certain, and the shape appears to match the same dark figure seen earlier in the forest footage. It doesn't approach or react, just remains in place, which somehow makes it feel worse. She insists she isn't imagining it, staying close enough to film it clearly, convinced the presence from before has somehow followed her home. Later, she's back in bed again, filming herself through tears, her face fed up and exhausted like she hasn't slept properly in days. She flips the camera around and asks viewers if they can hear it too. At first, it's faint, but there are clear speaking noises somewhere in the house, low and distant, but unmistakably voice-like.
Do you guys hear that? No one is home. My sister left for the whole weekend. Who is that? Who is that in my house?
She slowly leaves the bedroom and walks into the main living space, the camera shaking slightly in her hands. The sounds become clearer there, taking on a womanly tone, saying strange, unclear things that echo through the room. What makes it worse is the situation she keeps repeating. She is completely alone in the house. No TV is on, no one else is there, yet the voice continues, filling the space while she stands there recording, crying, and trying to understand who or what is speaking. As the video continues, she explains through a state of deep distress that everything has been getting worse, and that she hasn't told anyone around her because she's afraid of how it sounds. Her voice is tired, defeated, like she's been carrying this alone for too long. Then something happens that completely breaks her composure.
It's getting worse, and I don't want to tell anyone or go anywhere because I don't have anywhere to go, and I don't have anyone who's believing me. At first, it was my sister, but now I hear my mom, and she doesn't live here. She lives on the other side of the country, and I just called her, and she's in her own home. She's not here right now. So who is that? I've gone through the whole entire apartment. There is no one else here but me. No one else.
From somewhere in the house, she hears a voice calling out hello, and she freezes. She says it sounds exactly like her mum. The problem is, her mum is at her own home, nowhere near the house. The familiarity of the voice makes it more disturbing than anything else so far, because it's not just a random sound, it's personal, precise, and impossible to explain, leaving her standing there in shock, trying to process how something could copy someone she knows so closely. It simply makes no sense. At this point, she seems more determined than before, still scared, but trying to confront whatever is happening. There's knocking again, this time coming directly from her bedroom door. It's slow and deliberate, not random house noise, but spaced knocks that sound intentional. She calls out, asking who it is and what it wants, her voice shaky but louder than before.
It's back again. It's back again tonight. Who is it? What do you want? I know you guys think it's a prank or something, but it's not. It's not. Something else is here.
In response, the door handle shifts and the door creaks open on its own, inch by inch, slow enough to make every second feel stretched out. She forces herself to get up and walk toward it, camera still recording, and looks behind the door and into the hallway. Nothing is there. No movement, no person, no explanation. But somehow that makes it worse, because now it's not just making sounds or showing shapes. It's physically moving parts of the house, interacting with her space while remaining completely unseen. In one last clip from the woman, she is seen leaving her apartment building and heading toward the car park, still recording as if she doesn't feel safe moving alone anymore. The area is dim, lit only by scattered lights, and she keeps scanning around as she walks. Then she zooms in toward her car, and that's when viewers notice it.
I was just walking out of my apartment. And look. You see that? You see that shadow? It's following me.
Behind the vehicle, partially obscured by shadow, the same dark figure shape appears to be standing there, still and silent, matching the form seen in the forest and inside her home. It doesn't move, but its presence alone is enough to make the moment feel heavy. Whether all of this is a coincidence caused by lighting and angles, or something far more real, no one can say for sure. What I do know is you should subscribe for more videos like this. The Midwest ghost hunter is back again, continuing his exploration of the same abandoned factory where he's been documenting some seriously unnerving encounters. For anyone new, he's a solo investigator who's been visiting this building for weeks now, and every single time the activity seems to ramp up even more. This latest clip only adds to the mystery.
Are you working? Dude, it sounded like footsteps up there. Like hard, heavy footsteps. Oh my God. My heart is racing. But as you can see, there is no one up there. Is it all right if I come up there? Am I authorized? Could you make a noise to let me know? Shoot, well, I'm coming up anyway. Hope you don't mind. Oh gosh, these stairs are steep. Oh. Oh, geez. All right, I think I'm gonna try a spirit box session up here. See if I can communicate with any of the workers. If there's anybody up here, I got a device here that you can speak through. Could you speak to me? Damn, it is dark up here, guys. This is what I'm seeing, just to show you. Pitch black. And I gotta carry this spirit box and this camera, so I ain't got a light. Whoa. That was a man's voice right there. Are you saying your name? Who are you? Whoa.
As he's walking through one of the upper levels, he suddenly hears disembodied footsteps climbing the metal stairs ahead of him. The sound is loud, clear, and paced just like a person would walk, but there's nobody on the upper section at all. He stands at the bottom listening, calling out and asking if he's allowed to come up, and the footsteps immediately stop. He asks whatever's there to make another noise to confirm he is allowed up, but the entire building goes silent. Since he doesn't get an answer, he decides to go up anyway, climbing the metal steps with his night vision helping. At the top, he pulls out his spirit box, asking directly for a sign that something is actually with him. After a few bursts of static, a voice comes through clearly saying, "Eddie," followed by another message that sounds like they lost their balance into Ian's equipment, almost like someone was standing right next to him, explaining what happened. Between the footsteps, the direct responses, and the eerily personal messages, this might be one of the most convincing moments he's ever captured in that factory. The following video was recorded by a man who works night shifts at a construction site in the middle of nowhere, a place so quiet that even the smallest sound carries for miles. But lately, he's been noticing something he can't explain, a voice, one that doesn't sound human, but doesn't sound like any animal he knows either. Listen. At first, he assumed it had to be a cat. Stray cats often wander through empty construction zones, and some of their cries can sound disturbingly human. But when he went out to check, there was nothing there. No movement, no glowing eyes in the dark, nothing. What makes this even stranger is the timing. He says it happens almost every night, around the exact same hour, like clockwork. The sound begins suddenly, continues for long stretches, then stops just as mysteriously as it started. In paranormal lore, there are entities often described as wailers, spirits believed to express themselves through crying rather than appearing visually. Some are said to be trapped in a place tied to their final moments, repeating their grief over and over. Others are believed to cry as a way of drawing attention or drawing someone closer. And in cases like this, witnesses often say the most terrifying part isn't seeing something, it's hearing it, knowing it's there, but being completely unable to find it. Before you decide what this might be, listen again. Whatever was crying that night remains a mystery. In this next clip, a man records a video to send to a medium because he's run out of explanations for what's been happening inside his house. Strange movements, reflections that don't match reality, and the constant feeling that he isn't alone. But after watching this footage, even someone with no paranormal background would immediately recognize the source. Watch carefully.
Empecé a grabar porque hace unos días yo sentí que había algo. Realmente yo estoy solo ahorita, pero hace rato vi en ese cuarto como que una sombra. No sé. Bien. Ahí se ve algo. Ay Dios, yo realmente estoy solo. Bien. está completamente solo. Solo estoy yo. No se puede meter nadie aquí por la puerta. No, realmente estoy solo. Ni debajo de la cama, de hecho el espacio es muy... Vean. Ahí se alcanzó a ver algo. Si pueden ver, yo estoy solo. No hay nada, no hay nadie. En casa. No hay nadie. De hecho, hace días yo compré este troll porque se supone que aleja toda energía negativa. Pero ya lleva varias noches pasando esto.
As he walks through his home, a human-shaped figure can be seen moving in reflective surfaces, especially mirrors. They don't appear clearly, but you can see the form pass by. And then, moments later, it disappears. The movement doesn't match his position, and there's no one else in the house. Some believe mirrors and glass can act like thin barriers, places where entities can appear briefly without fully entering the physical space. And when something shows up repeatedly in reflections, people start to question whether it's simply passing through or already inside. But then he mentions something else. A troll he recently bought. He explains that the object caught his attention because it was said to absorb evil energy. Objects like this are sometimes referred to as spiritual vessels, items believed to attract, store, or interact with unseen forces. And ever since bringing it into the house, the activity seems to have intensified. It's easy to see why most viewers immediately connected the two. Some of his friends believe the figure might actually be the troll itself, not physically moving, but spiritually active, carrying out the purpose it was meant for, cleansing the space. But others strongly disagree. Whatever it is, it doesn't stay in one place, and its repeated appearances suggest it could be dangerous, feeding on energy, or even trying to manipulate the household. But I'll let you be the judge. Is this a protective spirit doing its work, or something far more dangerous? Now this next video circulated over 15 years ago, and to this day, it still unsettles people who've seen it. One night, a group of teenagers decided to break into a funeral home, a place most people wouldn't even feel comfortable walking past after dark. Funeral homes are quiet by design. They're places where bodies are prepared, preserved, and kept overnight, sometimes for days. And many believe that when someone passes, whatever part of them lingers doesn't always leave immediately. They began recording, expecting nothing more than an empty building. But what they captured was absolutely terrifying. Watch.
The fuzz is here. Stop, stop. Cops over there. See him? Focus, focus.
Now that you go in the back here.
Alright, dude, let's just go. I don't think he's looking at us. Let's go, let's go. Dude, it's a sensor light. It's a sensor. Don't worry. Just give it a nudge.
Break it? Holy shit.
Nice! Alright, shh.
I don't know about this, guys.
Dude, what a creepy place.
Don't be a weirdo.
Dude, let's go in here.
Yeah, let's check this out.
Shh. Hold up, let me get a night shot. Oh, it is a night shot. Go. Yeah.
What the f?
Oh my god.
This is scary.
It feels colder in this room. It seriously feels
Dude,
colder
I
in the
can
other
feel
room.
that.
Dude,
That's
this place
nuts.
is haunted. I'm telling you, this
It
place
smells
is.
different.
You smell those flowers?
It smells
There's
like
not
an
even any
old
flowers
person's
in here.
house.
It's freaking crazy. Dude, did you see that?
What the fuck? Dude, you see it? I saw that. I saw that.
God. What was that, a tissue?
Fucking man. Let's get out of here. No way that happened.
At first, everything seems still. Then suddenly, something moves beside the lampstand. That moment alone was enough to send panic through the group. They were already backing away, ready to leave, when one of them made a decision that would make things worse. He walked further inside, hoping to find something, anything, that could explain what they'd just seen. Instead, this happened.
That tissue tripped me up. Dude, what the fuck? Let's get the fuck out of here already. Why are we here still? What are you doing, man? Let's go. Come on, check this out. It's the only one out of place. No way, that's just a coincidence.
Did you get it? Did you get it on tape?
Well, yeah, I think I got it. This is f***ed up. No, man, let's get out of here. I'm tired of it. What the f***, man? Dude, what is that? Jeremy, where'd you go, man?
What the?
Fuck out, go.
Crazy.
God damn it.
Why are we going downstairs?
Just go.
Shit. Just look for the exit, a window or something.
Oh, this is great, man. Just f***ing great.
Let's get away out of here. Let's get out of here.
Let's go. Just look around for a window or something.
Maybe over here.
Fuck,
Nothing,
oh my God.
nothing. Turn around. Other way. Let's
right.
get the f*** out of here.
Holy shit. Whoa.
Funeral homes hold more than silence. They hold the last physical presence of people who were alive just days earlier. And workers in these places have quietly shared stories for years. Unexplained footsteps in preparation rooms, doors opening where no one entered, and the heavy feeling of being watched when alone. Some believe places like this carry residual energy, especially in rooms where bodies are kept overnight, where emotions from families, grief, and death itself concentrate. Till today, whatever caused all these remains a mystery. The following video was recorded by a woman named Simone during what was supposed to be a normal evening walk. On her way home, she passed a strange building she'd never paid attention to before. The place looked abandoned, quiet in a way that didn't feel normal. Even from outside, she couldn't shake the feeling that someone was inside, watching her. The anxiety hit so suddenly that she didn't even stop to question it. She just left. A few evenings later, she passed the same building again, and this time she heard something that stopped her cold. A voice, and it sounded exactly like her sister calling her name. Watch.
I don't know why the lights are on, but I'm going inside of this house. I just heard my sister's voice, and I'm sick of this. And I need to figure out what's going on so I can put a stop to it. The fuck? Why is this chair in the middle of the floor?
Mimicking entities are known for doing exactly this, copying voices of people you trust to lower your guard and pull you closer. They don't need to show themselves right away. The voice alone is enough. The moment she entered, she noticed a chair sitting in a strange position, like it had been moved recently. And before she could even finish explaining what she was seeing, the figure appeared, briefly, but enough to confirm something was there with her. After that encounter, Simone tried to convince herself it was tied to the building. But soon after, things started happening in her own home. Banging sounds at night, footsteps when she was alone, whispers with no clear source, and an overwhelming feeling of fear that would come out of nowhere. One day, a friend came over after hearing everything, and this happened.
Hey guys, it's Simone again.
You kidding me?
Yeah. So I'm here with my friend Lexi, and I thought that this was over, but it's still happening. Something from this entity is still trying to get to me, so...
I thought you were kidding.
No.
Like, this is horrible.
I'm not kidding.
I don't know how you've been living like this. This is literally, like... I've checked this door 5 times. There's no way anyone is in the backyard.
Yeah. So, still going on, and I just wanted to come back and report to you guys that it's still impacting my life every day.
I'm so sorry. This is insane.
Here's the unsettling theory. If the activity followed Simone home, then this may not be about a haunted location anymore. It could be attachment. When something fixates on a person instead of a place, it's hard to walk away from something like this without answers, but Simone isn't ready to stop investigating until she understands what's happening. The following clip comes from a family living near old gypsum and coal mining land, right on the edge of the Appalachian Mountains, in a home that's been passed down through generations. This isn't some new place with no history. Their parents lived there, their grandparents lived there, and it was always considered part of the family. But lately, it hasn't felt that way. Some days, the house is completely normal. Other days, things happen that no one can explain. Footsteps when no one's moving, voices when no one's speaking, and the constant feeling that something else is inside with them. One afternoon, things escalated. Watch closely.
What'd you hear?
I heard a help or something.
On the back porch?
There's one back there.
Okay, hold on.
And then it's like I heard Lila's voice say it, and then I heard Dad just say hey, and I didn't do anything about it because I don't know.
Sissy's voice?
Yes. And then I heard some whistling.
I need you to, okay, alright. I'm gonna stay upstairs because Gunner is freaked out. He's freaked out. Alright. It was loud and it was Lila.
I heard Dad's voice just say hey.
Yeah. So there's two different voices on the back porch. I'm not opening the door. I am upstairs with Gunner right now. There's nobody out there, Michael. There's nobody out there. Okay. Alright, I love you too.
The little boy suddenly reacts to his father's voice calling out, but his dad isn't home yet. He's still on his way back. His mother immediately senses something isn't right. She didn't open the door and she didn't check outside. Instead, she gathers the dogs, trusting her instinct that whatever called out wasn't him. Then she hears this. Listen carefully.
Oh my God. Why is my door opening?
A voice clearly says, "Help," and then the door starts shaking violently, like something is trying to come in. Then this happens.
Don't. Oh my gosh. Tay, Sarge, get over here, baby. Come on. My house is really dark. Tays, leave her alone. They're all froze.
When she says, "Look at the dogs," viewers noticed something disturbing in the background. A faint voice saying, "Don't look, they're mine." That's when people began connecting the pattern. First, it mimics the father's voice. Then it uses distress, saying help, to trigger a response. Then it uses possessive language, "They're mine." And finally, it tries to force entry. This isn't a random activity, and in regions around old Appalachian mining land, stories like this aren't uncommon. Folklore often speaks of entities that don't show themselves right away. Instead, they imitate, they observe, and they wait for recognition. Because once you respond, once you acknowledge them, that's when they get closer. So what do you think? Is this house truly haunted, or is there another explanation for all that has happened? In this next video, Kyle, someone who's already dealt with one strange incident after another, is still trying to figure out what, if anything, connects all of it. Just when things seemed to calm down and the activity finally stopped, a new puzzle surfaced. Listen closely.
Listen. There's a voice coming from under the floor again. It's cold out here. This hasn't happened in a while. Okay. Close the back. I don't get it. I mean, things were quiet. They were,
What makes this unsettling is how much it sounds like children playing inside his crawl space. Laughter, footsteps, faint giggles, all when the house is otherwise completely silent. What makes it worse is the timing. Kyle says he'd finally had several quiet days. No disturbances, no strange sounds, nothing to suggest whatever had been bothering him was still around. He started to believe the activity had passed, that maybe it really was over. And then this happens. Some people who follow Kyle's experiences closely say that when things go quiet, it isn't because whatever's there is gone, it's because it's waiting for the perfect moment to show itself again. Others speculate that whatever's causing this could be hiding in the crawl spaces or attic corners, places most people never think about. Small, tight areas where something could lurk, unseen, listening, maybe even feeding off the energy in the house. The very idea of something unseen pacing in crawl spaces or above your head at night is enough to make your skin crawl. Kyle is hoping this was just a one-off incident, a fleeting echo of what's come before. But after everything he's already experienced, the noises, the moving objects, the whispers that have followed him from room to room, it's not something he's willing to bet on. He knows better than anyone that whatever is in his home doesn't just go away. And for viewers watching this now, you can almost feel it. The quiet is never really quiet. Something is still there, just out of sight, and it's only a matter of time before it decides to make itself known again. Now this next clip was captured by a doorbell camera, and when the footage was revealed, it left viewers absolutely stunned. Watch closely. In the video, a shadow runs, but there's no one around. Half the people who've seen this are convinced it's paranormal, suggesting it could be a shadow entity or some residual energy replaying in that space. Others argue it's just a reflection, a trick of the lens, or some kind of glitch. But as always, I'll leave it to you to decide. Could this be a harmless shadow, or is something far more unsettling creeping around unseen? The following clip begins with loud, repeated banging echoing through the apartment, sharp enough to jolt the person filming upright from the couch beside the bed. It sounds deliberate, like something hitting a wall or door over and over, and after a moment of hesitation, they decide to investigate.
All right, let's investigate.
Camera in hand, they move through the apartment, checking nearby rooms, the hallway, even the front door, but everything is exactly as it should be. No movement, no open doors, no explanation for the noise they just heard. The banging has completely stopped, leaving behind an uncomfortable silence that feels heavier than the sound itself. After finding nothing, They head back toward the bedroom, clearly trying to convince themselves it was just a random noise. But as soon as they step back inside, the tension returns. The room feels different now, quieter, in a way that feels intentional, almost like whatever caused the banging is waiting. After ending the video, they pause near the couch, scanning the space slowly, listening for any hint of it starting again. Nothing does, at least not on camera, but the way they hesitate before sitting back down says enough. The banging may have stopped, but the feeling that something followed them back into the room never really goes away. James had already been dealing with strange activity in his house for days, which is exactly why he had his phone ready when this moment happened. He starts recording as the door handle in front of him begins shaking violently, rattling back and forth with force that clearly isn't normal. The handle suddenly twists on its own, and the door swings fully open, revealing the room beyond it. You can hear James breathing heavily behind the camera, frozen in place as he tries to process what he's seeing. Just as quickly, the door slowly shuts itself again, clicking into place. For a brief second, everything goes quiet, almost like it's over, but then the handle moves again. The door opens a second time, wider than before slamming shut once more as if whatever was doing it was toying with him. James later explained that this wasn't an isolated incident, and that similar things had been happening regularly in that room, which is what pushed him to finally film it. Seeing the door open and close repeatedly with that kind of force, and hearing the panic in his breathing, makes it clear this wasn't staged. Whatever was on the other side of that door clearly wanted to be noticed. Late at night, two friends were standing in the hallway of a house that had already been making them uneasy when they decided to finally check the attic. Ali stood directly beneath the hatch, holding the long stick used to pull it open, while his friend filmed from a few steps back. Heavy banging could be heard coming from above, loud and deliberate, not like animals or loose pipes, but slow, forceful knocks that seemed to respond to their presence.
Escucha, hágale, pero hágale suavecito. Espere, hágale.
Ali hesitates for a moment before pushing the attic door upward with the stick. As it creaks open, the darkness above fills the frame, and then something horrifying appears. An uncanny face suddenly becomes visible in the opening, pale and unnatural, staring straight down at them from the attic. It doesn't speak or move much, but its presence alone is enough. The moment they realize what they're looking at, both of them panic. The camera jolts violently as they turn and sprint away, shouting in fear as the attic door slams shut behind them. The footage was cut shortly after, but Ali later claimed neither of them went back up there that night. No one else was supposed to be in the house, and whatever looked down at them from that attic was never seen again. After weeks of dealing with things he couldn't explain inside the house, Tanner finally decided he needed some air and a break from whatever had been going on. He stepped outside with his phone, filming casually while talking to the camera about how tense everything had been lately, saying he just wanted to clear his head. The area around him looked empty and quiet, and nothing seemed out of place at first.
Hey guys, so I decided to just get out of the house today. I think it's probably good for me to keep my mind off of things and just maybe not think about it so much. I'm starting to feel paranoid, like the only place I feel safe is at my house, and don't really think that that's healthy, so I decided to just get out today. Thanks you guys to anyone who reached out to me. I'm doing fine. I just feel a little uneasy when I leave the house. But other than that, I'm doing good.
As Tanner continues walking and talking, the camera briefly pans past a long corridor far behind him. In that moment, barely noticeable unless you're really looking, an uncanny girl-like figure can be seen standing still in the distance, watching from the shadows. Tanner doesn't react at all and keeps walking, completely unaware that anything is there. The figure doesn't move, doesn't wave, and doesn't follow. It just stands there before slipping out of view as the camera shifts again. It wasn't until Tanner posted the video that people in the comments started pointing it out, timestamp after timestamp, all saying the same thing. Whatever that figure was, it appeared right after he left the house to escape the activity inside, making it feel like whatever had been haunting him hadn't stayed behind at all. Three friends were standing in the water together, laughing and getting ready to take an underwater selfie together, the camera already recording as they counted down and hyped each other up. It all felt normal at first, just another casual moment caught on video. As they prepare to dive in, a fourth figure suddenly appears behind them in the frame. It looks like a person standing just a few steps back, close enough that there's no way they could have slipped away unnoticed. The friends don't react at all, clearly unaware that anyone else is there. Seconds later, the three of them dive forward into the water together, splashing out of frame. But the strange part is what happens next. The fourth person never moves, never steps aside, and never exits the shot. When the camera steadies again, there's no one behind them at all. No swimmer surfacing, no footsteps, no disturbance in the water that would explain where that person went. Viewers slowed the footage down frame by frame, and there's no point where the figure can be seen leaving. It's as if they were never really there to begin with. The clip ends shortly after, but that unexplained extra person has left people convinced something impossible wandered into the shot for just a few seconds. At around 2 in the morning, just as Abdullah was about to turn off the lights and go to sleep, loud banging suddenly erupted from his apartment door, sharp enough to make him freeze in place. Confused and half asleep, he pulled out his phone and started recording to catch this.
It was around 10 a.m. I was going to turn off lights and ready to sleep, and then this happened again. So I heard my voice again after a month.
हाँ भाई ना हाइदी हाँ हम अल्फा मलाई की तूने लम्मा शाब से कुछ उसमें से रख ले खुद उसमें हो ले लो जीवन इसमें तुम ये क्या है तुम्हें भूख लगी या खाना खाओ मेरे पीछे तंग मत करो नीचे जा खाना खाओ फ्रिज में मैंने नहीं खोलना इसे
From the other side of the door, a voice could be heard begging to be let inside, repeating itself over and over, saying it was hungry and wanted to eat something. The tone didn't sound muffled like someone in the hallway, it sounded close, almost pressed against the door itself. Abdullah responds, firmly telling it no, that it can't come in. Almost instantly, the voice changes, becoming aggressive, and the knocking grows louder and faster, slamming against the door in bursts like whoever, or whatever, was getting angry. After a few tense seconds, the noise stops completely. Trying to prove to himself it was nothing, Abdullah opens the door and steps into the hallway, filming as he looks left and right. The corridor is completely empty, silent and still. No footsteps, no people, no sign that anyone had been there at all. He quickly retreats back inside and locks the door, later saying this was the moment he realized whatever was knocking didn't need to be seen to feel real. Just a day later, Abdullah found himself home alone again, still shaken from what happened the night before, but trying to convince himself it was a one-off. This time, the apartment door was already open as he moved around the house, and everything felt quiet enough to forget about it for a moment. That didn't last.
I was alone at home, so they started mimicking me again.
So, I heard someone is calling me, but I'm alone in my home. Like, मेरे घर में कोई भी नहीं है अभी. कौन? रोहान तुम हो? क्या हुआ? हाँ? तुम नीचे आओ. तुम नीचे आ जाओ रोहान. नीचे क्यों नहीं आना? क्यों? बकवास बंद करो अपनी. कौन था? बोलो. रूम में है ना कोई? मेरी एक बार अपने जेब में. Okay, bye. I don't know what it is, but okay, bye.
From somewhere upstairs, a voice suddenly echoes down toward him, clear and deliberate, telling him to come up and get back to work. Abdullah freezes when he realizes the voice sounds exactly like his own. Before he can react, it changes again, perfectly mimicking his brother's voice instead, calling his name the same way his brother always does. The switch is instant and unsettling, like whatever it is knows them both. Abdullah shouts back, telling it to keep its mouth shut, his voice shaking more than he wants to admit. Immediately after that, everything goes silent. No footsteps, no movement, nothing at all. Trying to prove to himself it's not real, he runs upstairs with his phone still recording, checking every room along the way. Of course, there's nobody there. Later, Abdullah said the silence was worse than the voice because it felt intentional, like whatever was speaking chose to stop only after he confronted it. For anyone new here, Ian is a Midwest-based ghost hunter who's been investigating abandoned and reportedly haunted locations for years, most famously, an old factory he keeps returning to because of how consistently active it's been. He's captured unexplained footsteps, distant knocks, and objects moving in this place before, which is why this next clip matters so much.
If there's anyone up here, could you make a sound? Sound like it came from in there. Is anybody in there? Looks like an old creepy piano. Oh God. That's creepy. Hello? Ooh. That was loud. Hearing thumps and bangs all throughout this place. Oh my God. Okay, just calm down. It is a freaky atmosphere up here.
Ian is standing alone inside the factory again, filming the second floor and calmly asking if anyone is up there, requesting that whatever's present make a sound. Almost immediately, a loud bang echoes from a nearby room. Ian heads straight toward it, calling out as he goes, but when he reaches the room, it's completely empty, except for an old, dust-covered piano sitting against the wall. No signs of anyone, nowhere to hide. As he's taking it in, another knock rings out, this time closer, then another and another. Each one sounds deliberate, like a response rather than random noise. Ian keeps the camera steady, clearly unsettled now, slowly turning in place to show there's still no one around him. The factory stays silent between the knocks, making each one feel intentional, almost conversational. It's moments like this that keep pulling him back to this location, because whatever is in that factory doesn't just make noise, it answers. In the following video, a group of innocent people were trying to make sense of what they're seeing after the atmosphere in the room completely changed. The door was shaking earlier, and the second they started recording, it suddenly goes still, almost like whatever was there was listening.
So we are all sitting here, enjoying our Taco Bell, right? And Ghost Malone was over there shaking the door a second ago. Ghost Malone, if you are still around, do something.
It was a sign.
Oh, okay. Okay. Mm-hmm.
Look at her.
Nonchalant. Alright, so ironically, I'm watching Ghostbusters, right? Ghost Malone. Ghosty. Yo. Are you kidding? Alright, so I've been asking Ghost Malone some questions. Okay, so 1 time if you're there, 2 times, or I guess no times if you're not. Definitely there, okay. Are you friendly? Okay, okay. Do you like Ghostbusters? No? Okay, do you like movies? Okay, okay. And just on Ghostbusters, I guess it's insulting. Are you here to cause harm? Okay. Okay. And I wish I knew Morse code. We'd try that. Are you an older spirit? Okay, but not a bad spirit. Okay. Is there more than one of you? Oh, okay.
One of them nervously asks if it's still around, and that's when a small child's toy car slowly rolls across the floor on its own, stopping just as quickly as it started. The mood flips from laughter to shock instantly. They begin talking to it calmly, asking simple questions, and almost immediately, a painting on the wall starts to move, tilting forward and lifting slightly as if being pushed from behind. Realizing it might be responding, they start using the painting as a way to communicate, asking yes or no questions, and watching it shift each time. Over the course of the clip, they figure out whatever is there doesn't seem hostile, just curious, and oddly specific, reacting negatively when Ghostbusters is mentioned, but calming down again moments later. By the end, they're convinced this isn't just one presence either, since the ghost claimed to have an accomplice. People were quick to question why everyone seemed so calm during the first encounter, almost accusing them of downplaying what happened. Instead of arguing back, the man behind the camera decided to do the opposite and returned to the room alone to see if whatever was there would respond again.
So, a couple weird things have happened tonight, like my mom's painting over there has moved. Ghosty. Ghost Malone. You there? Don't judge the trash. It's trash day. Ghosty. Okay. Maxie, what was that? Huh? So we're sitting here. Revelation here is it?
Hi, Maxie.
It should also be noted that we've had several offers from paranormal people to come here and whatnot. We're down. But there's been a few of them that are private profiles, minus the big ones you guys have suggested. Nobody's reached out, but I don't know. I might take offers for people to just come stay the night so you can see whether it's real or not for yourself. I don't know. But yeah, I am gonna take a list of questions. I've been writing down in the comments all the questions you guys have for Ghost Malone. And then we're gonna do like the Stranger Things light or dog button things to see if that does anything.
The house is quiet now. No nervous laughter, no group energy, just him speaking carefully into the empty space, asking if the presence is still around. For a moment, nothing happens. Then, without warning, a large baby playpen sitting across the room begins to slide across the floor on its own. It moves slowly but deliberately, scraping loudly as it shifts several feet with no one touching it. The man backs away in shock, clearly shaken now that there's no one else there to share the moment with. He later explained that this wasn't an isolated event either. Multiple paranormal investigators have since visited the house, documenting repeated activity and ruling out natural causes. Despite their efforts, nothing has stopped what's happening, and the family has made it clear that if the experts can't put an end to it, they're moving out for good. Whatever is in that house clearly has no interest in being ignored, no matter if it has good intentions. Moving into a new house is already daunting enough, but for Kyle, that feeling didn't last long at all. He'd only just bought the place and was walking through it for the first time properly, filming on his phone while the rooms were still empty and undecorated. It was meant to be a simple walkthrough, nothing dramatic, just getting familiar with the layout, but the house clearly had other plans.
I was moving into my new house. I was alone, and this happened. Good luck to me.
As Kyle pans down the long corridor, the lights begin turning themselves on and off, one by one, flickering in a slow, deliberate pattern that doesn't look like a wiring issue at all. At the far end of the hallway, a door starts to close on its own, inch by inch, until it's almost fully shut. Kyle walks toward it, clearly uneasy, and pushes to open it again. The moment he tries, he pauses. Something on the other side is pushing back. You can hear it in his voice as he strains, confused, wondering if anyone's there. After a few seconds, the resistance suddenly stops, and he manages to force the door open. He steps inside, filming the entire time, only to find an empty room. No people, no animals, no explanation. For a house that was supposed to be a fresh start, it didn't waste any time letting him know he might not be alone there at all. Things only escalate from there.
What the F is going on? Things are going crazy now.
As Kyle moves further into the house, another door suddenly starts rattling aggressively in front of him, shaking in its frame like something on the other side is trying to force its way out. He hesitates, then pushes it open, only to step into the next room and realize it's happening again. This time, a sliding door inside the corridor begins opening and closing by itself, gliding back and forth with no one touching it. The movement is steady and deliberate, not random. Kyle keeps filming, clearly shaken now, when something else catches his eye. A doll sitting in the room shifts on its own. He doesn't touch it, doesn't go near it, but it moves anyway, just enough to make it unmistakable. At that point, the excitement in his voice is gone, replaced with pure unease. Whatever is in this house seems to be reacting to him room by room, almost guiding him deeper inside. For a place he just moved into, the activity is immediate and relentless, and Kyle realizes this new house isn't just unsettling, it might actually be dangerous if he stays. The Martin house has a reputation for child sightings, with locals claiming they've seen figures in the upper windows for years, despite the place being completely abandoned. In this clip, a woman just happens to be driving past when she remembers the stories and decides to pull over and film from a distance, more out of curiosity than anything else.
This is the Martin house. Haunted, Panama City, Florida, my first book. And I'm just driving by randomly. Look in the window. Please, somebody tell me you see what I'm seeing. A child. He supposedly, maybe, we're not sure. Stories have changed over the years. Man went crazy and killed his entire family after finding out his wife was cheating with the servant. Hung the servant on a tree that used to be in the front yard that the hurricane took out. But the stories are that the children can be seen. I see a kid. Fuck.
As she zooms in on the top floor, a small, childlike figure can be seen standing in one of the windows, staring outward. What makes it especially unsettling is how unnatural it looks. The figure doesn't move at all, not even slightly, almost like it's frozen in place. There are no lights on inside the house, no signs of anyone living there, and according to locals, nobody has for a long time. The woman stays filming for a moment, clearly confused, before slowly backing away and getting back in her car once the footage ends. Later, people pointed out that the figure looks too realistic to be a decoration, but too still to be a real person, which only adds to the mystery. For a house already known for reports of child apparitions, this sighting just made its reputation even harder to ignore. In this clip, security camera footage from inside a family's room captures something that quickly spiraled from unsettling to outright disturbing. The camera shows the room late at night with no one inside, while small orbs drift through the air, floating in irregular patterns. What makes it stranger is that the camera itself keeps rotating slightly, almost as if it's tracking the movement of the orbs rather than randomly shifting. Each time the camera settles, it keeps landing back on a doll sitting upright on a chair in the corner of the room, and every time it does, the doll appears to have changed position just slightly. Its head tilts, its body slumps, then straightens again in ways that don't look like simple camera glitches. Over the course of the footage, the movements become more noticeable, subtle but intentional enough to raise alarms. The Fodder family said they hadn't touched the doll at all that night, and no one was home when this was recorded. After reviewing the footage and noticing how often the activity seemed centered around it, they didn't want to take any chances. The next day, they removed the doll from the house entirely and threw it out with the trash, saying it felt less like a toy and more like something that was watching back. In the following video, two men are out late at night filming along a quiet road, one of them sweeping a flashlight across the darkness while the other keeps the camera steady. The place feels empty and still until something at the far end of the road catches their attention. It's shaped like a person, standing in a way that looks almost human, but not quite right, too stiff and uncanny to make sense.
¿No? Sí. Tengo una lamparota super expanded. Ah, bueno, tú tienes tu luz azul. ¿Sí?
Güey, ese es el velador de...
Es el velador, ¿no? Ah, velador. ¡Ey! ¡Velador!
Aguanta, espérate, ey. Shh, no te muevas. No mames, no te muevas ahí. Güey.
¿Velador?
Ese no es el velador, güey.
Güey, no es el velador.
No.
Yo también pensaba que era el velador.
No, aguanta. Deja que mi cámara enfoque bien, Deja que mi cámara enfoque bien, güey. Eso no es el velador. No digas perras mamadas, güey. Perdón. ¡Ey! Se me cayó algo, güey. ¿Qué se me cayó? A la verga. Sentí que se me cayó mi cartera, pero no. ¡Hola! No digas cosas. No. Güey, ¿fue aquí? No digas mamadas, güey. Buenas, velador. No mames. Esta madre no pudo haber salido, está con reja. Está con reja, güey. No digas mamadas, güey. No digas mamadas, Joe. Miren. No digas mamadas, güey.
Yo la vi moverse, güey.
No, Joe. No. No, güey, no mames.
¿Qué fue eso, güey?
No sé.
No mames, güey. No mames.
¿Crees que haya sido ella?
Güey, nos estamos metiendo más adentro del reino más. Banda, comparte.
No mames, güey, no mames.
Parece que sus ojos te miran, ¿verdad?
Pareciera, pero no creo, güey. Güey, es que qué pedo, güey. Hola. Tú te moviste. Tú fuiste la que se movió. ¿Es así? No mames, güey. ¿Tú fuiste la que se movió, mujer? A ver, güey. Güey, es que era el vestido también así, güey.
¿Verdad?
Amarillo.
Yo pensaba que era el velador, te lo juro, hermano.
Yo también, güey.
Qué bueno que me detuviste.
No, güey, no era el velador, mira. Blancanieves.
Blancanieves.
Ay, güey, dime que no era cierto, güey. No mames, güey.
Qué miedo.
Miren. Pero es que, güey, no creo que haya sido ella, güey, mira. Porque no se puede ni sostener esto, güey. Mira, y aparte está muy rompido todo, mira.
Sí, no, o sea, está hecha de fibra de
No mames, güey.
Pero ella no se puede mover.
Sería ella.
No tiene brazo, además.
Güey, porque yo no miro a nadie más, güey.
They zoom in as much as they can, whispering back and forth, trying to work out if it's someone standing there or something else entirely. The figure doesn't move at first, just stays there facing in the right direction, before slowly slipping behind a wall at the edge of the road. Both men panic and sprint forward, convinced they'll catch whoever it is. But when they reach the spot, there's nothing. No footsteps, no place it could have run, nowhere to hide. After searching the area with the flashlight, they finally spot a strange mannequin positioned nearby, its posture eerily similar to what they saw from a distance. Up close, it's completely motionless, just a lifeless prop. Still, the timing and placement make it hard to shake the feeling that something wasn't right, and they leave unsure whether they really saw a trick of the light or something that moved when they weren't close enough to prove it. Steve was out motorbiking alone as daylight started to fade, filming casually as he followed a narrow trail through the wilderness. At first, it just felt eerie in the normal way remote places do at dusk, until he began noticing bones scattered along the path, bleached white and unnaturally clustered. That's when the atmosphere shifted. The forest went dead quiet. No insects, no wind, no distant animals, just the sound of his engine cutting through an uncomfortable silence.
Just wait till the end. I don't like this at all. Oh god, there's even more bones than last time. Looks like we've already passed it a while ago, but that tree is gone. I'm probably gonna turn around soon. Oh, there's two ways. Holy crap, dude, this trail goes on forever. It just got really quiet really fast. That was my cue to leave.
What was this?
The trail soon split into two directions, and Steve slowed down, hesitating as he tried to decide which way to go. As he angled the camera to the right-hand path, something moves. Crawling out from the bushes is a figure that doesn't move like an animal or a person, low to the ground, twisted, and disturbingly human in shape. It pauses just long enough to be seen clearly before continuing forward. Steve doesn't wait to understand what he's looking at. He immediately turns the bike around and speeds off the way he came, breathing hard as the forest stays unnaturally silent behind him. He later said he didn't stop riding until he reached a populated road, convinced that whatever he saw wasn't supposed to be out there at all. In the following video, a man was standing in his living room late at night claiming he heard a glass make a soft ting sound, as if it had lightly tapped against another on its own. He starts filming, confused, while his cat walks toward him meowing in a way that clearly shows it was just as startled. He keeps the camera pointed toward the glass and asks out loud if it might be coming from the strange African mask sitting across the room, a piece he has always found unsettling.
I just heard, I swear I heard this glass go ting, you know, like that noise. Even the cat's coming over to investigate. Yeah, I know, some weird shit's happening, isn't it, kitty? There's the weird mask. Something freaking you out, kitty? Huh? Yeah, I swear it was that glass. The weird African mask, is it you? Could be the African mask. Brought some voodoo magic. What the f— Oh shit! Oh shit! Oh shit! Oh shit! Oh shit! Oh shit! I'm running over here and that couldn't be. Jesus Christ! Oh my God! Oh, fuck. That is so weird. I am freaking the f out. Oh, shit.
Just as he finishes his sentence, the kitchen tap beside him suddenly turns itself on full force, the sound echoing through the room as he jumps back and yells in shock. He quickly lunges forward to turn it off, his breathing sharp, and retreats to the opposite corner of the room with the cat still staring toward the mask. Nothing else moves after that, but between the strange glass noise, the cat's reaction, and the tap activating on its own, he is convinced something in that room was trying to get his attention. A few days after the tap incident, he found himself dealing with something even stranger when he was just trying to use the bathroom. He said he was sitting on the toilet when he suddenly heard a loud beeping sound coming from downstairs, which made no sense because nothing in his house should have been making that noise. Curious and uneasy, he grabbed his phone and started recording as he made his way down the steps.
Right, I just started recording again. Because I'm sat on the toilet and I can hear something beeping downstairs, and the only thing that beeps like that is the fridge. Like, if it only beeps like that when the fridge door is open. I don't even look. Oh my god. What the f... I'm just gonna sit here . Whoa, did that wire just move? No. Whoa, what the f... What the f... What? Oh no. It's actually moving, man. It looks like a snake or some shit. What the... Lampshades going as well. They're like moving towards it. What the fuck? Whoa! No! 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 Fucking hell, the cable flew over there. That was what was moving in the bowl. A little wooden insect stick fucking thing. Milk bottle.
The moment he reached the bottom, he froze because the fridge was standing wide open, even though he swore he never touched it. He sat on the stairs for a moment waiting for anything else to happen, and right then, a wire sitting inside a bowl on top of the fridge began to move in this slow, unnatural slithering motion, like something invisible was dragging it around. The light in the kitchen swayed closer to the wire as if the two were weirdly connected, and before he could process that, an empty milk carton suddenly fell out of the refrigerator on its own. He bolted back upstairs in full panic, but returned a moment later to find both kitchen lights swinging this time and a Coke bottle now lying on the floor. At this point, he said he was genuinely terrified because none of it could be explained, and whatever was in his house seemed to be getting stronger. Once the fridge incident ended, he was sitting on the couch at around 3 in the morning watching TV, trying to shake off the feeling that the activity had finally calmed down. But the longer he sat there, the more he kept getting this horrible sense that someone was standing on the staircase behind him, just watching. It got to a point where the feeling got so strong he couldn't even focus on the screen anymore, so he had to hit record.
Right, I just thought I'd start recording again. I was just sat watching TV for a bit. It's like 3 in the morning. Just turned it off to go to bed. I was just getting the weirdest feeling that someone was stood behind me, like sat on the stairs almost looking at me. It's making the hairs on the back of my neck stand on end. And usually I would just kind of palm it off and tell myself and forget about it, but given recent events, I'm not gonna lie, I'm letting it get to me a little bit. It's freaking me the fuck out. It's really freaking me out. It's really, really freaking me out. I left this little note, yes and no, with a £1 coin. Kind of asked it a few questions before I left earlier to go watch the boxing, and it hasn't moved, so that didn't really work. But yeah, I just feel like right there, man. Me and my dad used to live in this house. It was a bit weird. You used to hear footsteps upstairs, and my dad would say that he like used to feel like, what's up? What the? Did you hear that jingle then? You hear that jingle? That definitely. What the fuck is going on in this house? And my cat as well just keeps doing this. My cat just keeps walking around meowing, which is also freaking me out. Fucking so weird. So weird. Are you here to hurt me? Are you here to do me harm? Are you friendly? Whoa, what the? Nah. Off. No way. What the? No, man. No way that just moved. Loki? Loki? You need to get out of my house, whatever you are, whoever you are, you need to leave. You need to leave right now. Fuck's sake.
He left a piece of paper and wrote yes on one side and no on the other, then placed a coin in the middle to see if anything would respond. For a while, nothing budged, and he even sighed, thinking maybe it wouldn't work. But then a sudden jingle echoed from right next to him, like something metallic dangling had been nudged. And immediately after that, a fast, scurrying noise shot across the floor behind him. His cat started pacing around anxiously, meowing toward the staircase like it was reacting to something he couldn't see. Trying to stay calm, he asked out loud if whatever was there was trying to hurt him. Nothing. Completely silent. Then he asked a different question, his voice shaking, asking if it was friendly. The coin slowly slid across the paper and stopped over the word no. A man was checking a graveyard site early in the morning because there was a funeral scheduled later that day, and he wanted everything to look presentable before the family arrived. It was completely silent around him, nothing but headstones, trimmed grass, and the quiet breeze moving through the trees. While walking between two rows of graves, he suddenly flinched and grabbed his arm, feeling a sharp sting like something had burned him. When he lifted his sleeve, there was a fresh red scratch across his skin, thin and bright as if it had just been made. Nobody else was there. No branches, no tools, nothing that could have brushed against him. The moment it happened, he pulled out his phone and began recording to document the rest of what he was experiencing.
So I'm here this morning just to check, the site for one of our funerals today. And I'm checking the site. Nothing around me besides graves. And I feel this burn on my arm. I don't know if you can see that, but pretty deep raised scratch. I don't know what the hell. So it's a Monday morning, start of a new week. Maybe it'll be a good week. I don't see anything out of place or odd in the garage. Didn't see any prints or anything like that. So, Jesus Christ! What the f?
The footage cuts to the cemetery's small maintenance garage, where he had gone to see if maybe some animal or loose equipment had caused the scratch. Despite this being completely delusion, he barely gets near the door before something slams hard against the metal shutters from the inside, loud enough to echo across the graveyard. He jumps back instantly, pointing the camera at the shaking panels, but nothing tries it again. The entire place is still, completely empty, and the door stays shut. Between the unexplained scratch and whatever hit the shutters, he felt like something in that graveyard did not want him there. And after this recording, he left the area immediately. CCTV footage from inside a children's bedroom captured one of the most disturbing clips this family has ever seen. Runa, the little boy sitting calmly on the bed, is playing with his device while his older sister moves around the room behind him. Nothing seems unusual at first, but then she suddenly jolts and is yanked downward toward the gap under the bed, as if something unseen grabbed her ankles. She immediately starts crying and trying to resist, clearly being pulled by force.
Astagfirullahaladzim. Ayah, demi Allah, kayak ada yang nyeret Jena. Demi Allah, jangan bekerja. Demi Allah. Demi Allah, kayak ada yang nyeret Jena. Bener-bener astagfirullahaladzim. Nggak jangan jelas. Nenek di depan. Jangan mau ke dalam ya. Demi Allah, kayak ada yang nyeret, sumpah demi Allah. Bukan dia pergi. Abang Afri. Siapa ini? Kita enggak?
Runa just sits there frozen for a few moments, unsure what to do before getting his mom's attention. When she rushes in, the girl is still halfway under the bed, gripping the frame in panic. The mother tries to pull her out and struggles against a resisting force that makes the process take several seconds. Another woman enters to help, and they ultimately have to lift the entire bed up just to free her. Nothing under it, nothing around it, nothing that could have dragged her the way the footage shows. The family is convinced something was under that bed with her, and this clip might be one of the clearest pieces of evidence they've ever captured. The woman filming the next clip is called Marlene, and she had been dealing with strange occurrences at her workplace for weeks. But on this particular day, the activity seemed to escalate all at once. She starts recording after hearing a series of random taps echoing from inside the walls, the kind that didn't match pipes, heating, or anything mechanical. As she films quietly, the building's ambient music suddenly turns itself on and off, almost like someone flicked a switch. Then the overhead lights shift shade, dimming slightly, and brightening again with no warning.
Like, this is not a joke. Oh my god. Where the fuck did the music come from? And the music just stopped. Oh my god, literally no one. Oh my god, oh my god! Literally nothing here. Like, nothing. Like, I don't know what the all that noise was about, but there's nothing here. Nothing. It's insane. Oh my god. So fun. Oh my god, the light is off.
As she walks through the hallway, more taps follow her, accompanied by what sounds unmistakably like footsteps, despite nobody else being in the building. Marlene keeps her composure and climbs the narrow ladder to the attic to show viewers what's actually up there, and sure enough, it's completely empty. No workers, no pests, no equipment running, just dust and insulation. She comes back down, and she's starting to feel watched, only to turn the camera and realize the light she had left on moments earlier is now completely off. She insists nobody else has access to the building during her shift, and with the footsteps, the tapping, the music flickering on and off, and the lights behaving on their own, she thinks whatever is in her workplace doesn't want her there.